Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Yep, I done messed up, so I had to buy some more guitars. That's the story of our first one here anyways. So on my website, it's a little bit janky. It's not the best website in the world. So when I go to add a new product, I type in the name, I type in the description, I add an image, and then I set my price, right? But if I forget to go over to inventory, manage the stock levels, and put a quantity of 1, the listing will stay live. So if somebody buys it, it'll still be on the website. Whereas normally, if somebody buys it, it's still on the website until I personally take it down. It just says out of stock and doesn't let anybody else buy it. I have it set up that way on purpose. That way I don't get questioning emails asking is it still available or not. I leave it up for a day or two to cut down on that. But on this guitar from Japan, I forgot to limit it and I sold it twice. And I was like, oh man, I can get you one, but it's going to take a couple of weeks. And just to err on the side of caution, I told him it might take up to a month, but miraculously, it actually made it here like within a week. But since I had to buy another one of these Kato Stratocasters, it's just cheaper for me to buy 2 at the same time because you can save on the shipping costs because they can ship them together in a slightly larger box. So I figure if I have to buy another one, there's probably going to be a third person out there that wants one of these. So I decided to pick this up. This is available for immediate shipment. And you can check out the full review and demo of this one right up here. It's actually a pretty cool Stratocaster. The finish takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's like a thin nitro finish, so it's going to wear real quickly, and it's an artist's signature. It's exactly how he wanted it to happen. So it kind of just feels like an orange peely finish that doesn't have that final clear coat layer to it, but I've always loved the aged plastics on this. It's just a really cool, almost Pelham blue-like Stratocaster, but it's a little bit darker than that. And of course the inlays are pretty cool, even though they are just acrylic dots. They just seem a little bit wider in comparison to our pickguard and everything. And hey, check out the really cool headstock on this one. I love the wood grain. And yes, indeed, that does continue on to the back. So yeah, this is a pretty cool one. So it's available if you're interested in this, but always, if one of these Japanese guitars sells out of my shop, I can get you another one. Most times. Sometimes like the Daiki Tsuneta one that's like ultra limited edition I might not be able to help you with, but any current production Fender Japan guitar that's an exclusive over there, I can help you via my forwarding service. And in purchasing 3 of these, this pillowcase thing did come with all of them, so that must be a new thing Fender Japan's doing. Pretty cool. But before we continue the unboxing fun today, we need to hear a word from our sponsor, Sweetwater. Sweetwater, great place to buy gear. You can call somebody up, they can give you recommendations, and they carry just about anything that any musician could ever want. But my favorite thing about buying gear from Sweetwater is being able to see the actual photos of instruments I'm looking at. Because when you buy a high-end guitar, you kind of want to know, does it have a cool flame top? Does it weigh 13 pounds? What's the serial number? Because I'm looking for a birthday guitar for my son that was just born or something. And if all that wasn't enough, they also have a modifications team that can plec your instrument for you, swap out the pickups, do a refret, a whole bunch of stuff. Anything you can think of, they can make it happen. Thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring tonight's episode. Now let's get back to the guitars. So, funny story aside with that guitar of why I had to buy more of them, it's actually mail day today. I've got a bunch of small packages that I thought we would check out here. We'll start with this rather large small package box. Let's see what's inside box number 1. After reading this little note off camera here, this is actually a gift from a viewer of the show. They thought I might like having one of these weird things. It's the Gibson memory cable. Essentially, you're supposed to plug this into your guitar and then it automatically records what you're doing. So if you're ever practicing and you're like, what did I just play? It was so good. You can actually, flip back through what you were doing, or you could send it to like your guitar instructor or something. And I'll be honest, I've low-key always wanted to try one of these things out, so maybe we'll make an episode or at least a short of it one day. Or perhaps I should take Russ's suggestion here and use it as a Gibson-branded jump rope. Well, now I'm gonna have to try that one day. Oh yeah, that's a big jump rope. Thanks for watching, Russ, and everybody else out there. Small package number 2, let's go with the long, slender tube. This is something that I just recently purchased to go along with a guitar in the future museum because I've been really liking getting these vintage posters. I really like that one of the Gibson map guitar. So when I saw this, some Scorpions action here, it's like, yeah. So this poster reads, "The Scorpions rock the world with Gibson." And then right behind their little photo here with them having their own guitars, you got Rudolf Schenker over here with his half and half V. Then you got Matthias Jabs over here with his custom Explorer with the stripes. It's the actual production version of the Gibson Designer Series striped guitar. Now you can see the one in his photo actually has a white pickguard on it. It's not the triangle layout. It's the 3 in a line like a standard Explorer, but it still has the white headstock. But it was just cool to see one of those custom color Designer Series in a giant poster and having the big Gibson print right here, American made, world played. And it also talks about how you can custom order his new Explorer in Flying V. So I thought that was very cool. A little chewed up over here, but I think it was worth it. That's going to look cool next to the Jabs and Schenker V and Explorer when I eventually get them in a nice little display. Small package number 3. I've got 2 of these little square ones. I'm not exactly sure what is in them. Our first one here, it's got additional cardboard in it, so it must be fragile. It feels like some sort of a booklet. I don't remember what this is. Okay, I remember what this is. This was a fantastic find. So I'm not actually gonna go over all of this today, but I found a lot of old Gibson employee newsletters, essentially, you know, dating from the 70s. I mean, there's some really cool stuff in here that shows you like some limited edition models. I mean, look how cool that is. You can see a new old stock Les Paul right there. That actually appears to be the Les Paul artist. And then there's like the Paul here. And I mean, as you go through here, you can just see some like old employee stuff. So I think this is just an episode all in of itself, but it is kind of cool to unbox them here with you guys. But as you can tell, I bought every single one the guy had. Even though, truth be told, there's only like 4 or 5 really good ones with the cool stuff in it. But he also only showed like a few pages of each, so I thought it would just be cool to see, well, what else might be hiding in here? And oh my goodness! Do you guys know who this is? It's Floyd Leonard. You know, Randy Leonard's dad. I'll have to send him a photo of that. I'm sure he would appreciate it. That's why I bought it, to see the old employees and all the cool guitars. So now we'll have to see, is there more of that in here? Nope, this is different. That's strange how the packaging is the exact same though. This must be like a post office type thing. I actually bought this from a viewer of the show because he had no idea how to value this, and I didn't really either, but I thought this was really cool. So it's like 90s Gibson promotional material here. It reads 100 years of an American icon, so that likely means it's from 1994. But what's really strange is it has a 1979 Gibson V Les Paul. That was made, you know, late 70s. Doesn't make sense. So how I can tell it's a 79 is the fact that we've got the brass nut and brass truss rod cover on here instead of the fancy wooden appointments. But apparently this can bend, and it's just like a little stand. So I thought that would make a cool little display piece. But it's like, where do you really put this in the museum? Do you put it next to the Les Pauls, or do you put it with the 90s stuff? All I gotta say is somebody at Gibson must own this guitar at the time of filming. I thought there were supposed to be like some pins with this, or maybe I thought it was bigger, I'm not sure. Maybe it's in another box. Yeah, it's probably this box, because it said 1 of 2, and I was always very confused about that, because I only saw one box that looked like this. Yeah, here we go. Got some interesting stuff in this bubble wrap. So first off, we have a pewter Gibson keychain right here that reads Gibson Custom, so mid-2000s-ish. Then we've got some Gibson pins. So 100th anniversary Gibson, a rockin' red ES335. Looks like an 80s inspired Explorer here because you can tell it's got the Dirty Fingers pickups in it, but maple fretboard's a bit strange. I think they just did that for the color contrast here. Striking white Flying V. And an interesting Pelham Blue Les Paul Custom, all right. So as far as I understand it, in 1994, they actually had like a complete set of these pins. So this is technically an incomplete set, but nice nonetheless. If anything else, it's more things to add to the vintage Gibson shrine over here. But let's continue on here with a small envelope. I think this might be another viewer sent in piece. It appears we should not be bending it. If nothing else this episode, I've learned how to pack things that don't need bent. These guys did a fantastic job. But yes, this is what was sent. A viewer had reached out and asked me if I wanted these Gibson USA heart picks. So Gibson made these style picks all the way back in the 70s, and they're so thin, at least the versions that I had, that they would just snap after one playing session. These are actually a lot thicker than the true vintage ones. So he said I could use these or just have them as display pieces. So thank you very much. It's always nice to have some good Gibson picks. So I'll be honest, guys, lately I have not been loving any pick that I've been using. Like, they feel either too thin or some are too thick. It's really been rather frustrating. I need to get me some of those Kirk Hammett picks because I really enjoyed using those. It's just they're so small you end up losing them. So what do we have in this box? Oh, yes. I saw this old crusty t-shirt on Reverb, and even though it sat for like a year plus without anybody being interested, I said, yes, I need to own it. I don't think I understood it was green in the photos, but look at that. American made, world played. It's got the map guitar on it. It has the old Gibson logo. It smells very vintage. Is a nice way to put it. I mean, I bought it thinking Gibson actually made this. I guess I'm not entirely sure if they did. I can't really read the tag. I suppose it's possible somebody just threw this on something, but I mean, just the way it feels, I'm pretty sure it's at least old. But what's really cool about this photo is you can see it's got the diamond posi lock strap locks right there. And it's the same map guitar that they used for all of the promotional things. And you can tell that they tried to squeeze the Gibson name in there as well. But also bundled with this listing was this old pamphlet that Gibson used to charge $4 for. That has, again, the exact same guitar. It's also the same one that I have the giant poster of that I purchased last time. They just didn't quite get our chisels there. But please, if anybody has vintage chisels that look exactly like this, please let me know, because I just think it'd be cool to have those. So if I ever get like a map guitar, I could recreate the photo or something. But it has to have the dark brown mahogany handle. It has to have the brass securing and fitting and try to have like the same head. I've been watching eBay, but I haven't found anything exact. So I guess if anybody has information on those, I would be very appreciative of that. I suppose I can give you a quick look at this. It's just a pretty cool old pamphlet. I think I'll take some scans of this and we can look at it another day or in a short when I start making those. But it's got some cool stuff, even if it's just, you know, something that you can sit down in an area of my museum and just kind of flip through these. Like if I ever find a pristine one, yeah, I'll keep that one behind glass, but I want it to be an interactive museum all at the same time. Hey, cool! Corvus! Even with the super vibrola there. Now, moving over here, I actually have some company gifts. So PRS sent me a letter here, which I'll be honest here. I work with PRS maybe once, twice a year, sometimes a little bit more, if that. But I think it's just really nice that they send out these cards every year that the employees sign. You also get Paul's signature right there. And it always appears to be hand done. I mean, that doesn't look like they just scanned it in and just print it. Of course, I could be wrong. But it does look like they sign each and every single one of these. And I'm sure they send out probably close to 100 plus of these. So that's some nice dedication that you can see from a company like PRS. And next over here, we have a mystery box from Stu Mac. I don't remember ordering anything anyways. So let's see what's in the box, because it's pretty chunky. Stu Mac, if you're not familiar, they sell like really good guitar fixing equipment. And it appears today we get a cool little swag kit. All wrapped up for the holidays. Including a hat, a different kind of hat, a nice little note, some stickers, cozy, tote bag, perhaps the answer to my pick dilemma, fancy pen, they're building on a t-shirt, an amp on a t-shirt. Ah, that's actually really fancy. They got all the wordings everywhere. I gotta say, by far, Stu Mac, this is my favorite design. You got like the wife over here working and cleaning on guitars, and then just your rocker dude playing them. I like that one. My wife wears hoodies a lot. I'll see if she can wear this one. And lastly, it's this, a Guitar Tech screwdriver kit. Thank you, Stu Mac. Now, lastly, I have one guitar to unbox. Yeah, one guitar, 2 copies of it. I'll be honest, it's one to resell and one I kind of hope to plan on keeping because I really support what this was all about, and I just want to see if I can find one that has really cool wood grain. As I placed this order on launch day with some of my rewards points that I had with a certain dealer, and even though my review of this model, I don't know if people would consider it a down review. I said it wasn't worth the money, but I love what it's all about, and that is the Rick Beato signature double cut. I mean, these things have done well on the used market. I mean, they're not selling for huge premiums or anything, but I like what this all represents. So here is my first option of, does it have the right kind of wood grain that I want? It's okay. It's nothing necessarily too fantastic. Like, I would like to find one that has like a lot of ringy wood grain to it. But here's the serial number. Man, it's so strange seeing such late 2022. I mean, can you believe it? We're headed into 2023 here in just a couple of weeks. And then our second one. I suppose if you're actually putting sales tax into the price consideration, nobody's actually currently making money off of these, because $2,500 is about where they sit, even though they were $19.99 brand new. And unfortunately, didn't win the wood grain lottery. I guess I haven't actually seen one that is all ringy, but if anybody happens to see one, I would love to at least see some photos. But I think this is going to be the runt of the litter. I think I like the fretboard of the other one better. So if you're interested in one of these, you can check it out on my website, because the other one, I think I will just hold back in my collection. I don't really care about the value. I just think in the future, we will see more of these YouTuber signature guitars, and this one will become iconic if it's left in mint condition. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day, and you might even enjoy this next one.